Welcome to the English Story Well channel, your ultimate destination for captivating stories that enhance your English learning journey. Here, we believe that stories are not just a form of entertainment, but a powerful tool to improve your language skills. Let's go to started.
Tom was new to the city. He had just moved from a small town to study at a university. The city was much bigger than his hometown, and everything seemed so different. On his first day at the university, Tom felt nervous. He didn't know anyone, and he wasn't sure how to start a conversation. During his first class, he sat next to a girl named Sarah. She smiled at him and said, "Hi, I'm Sarah. What's your name?" "I'm Tom," he replied shyly. Sarah noticed that Tom looked a little uncomfortable, so she asked, "Is this your first time in the city?" Tom nodded. "Yes, I just moved here. It's all so new to me." Sarah smiled kindly and said, "Don't worry. The city can feel big at first, but you'll get used to it. If you ever need help, just ask." Over the next few days, Sarah helped Tom with everything. She showed him around the campus, helped him find the best places to eat, and introduced him to new friends. Tom felt much better knowing he had a friend in this big new city. One day, Tom decided to thank Sarah for her kindness. "Sarah," he said, "you've been so helpful. I want to buy you a coffee as a thank you." Sarah laughed and replied, "You don't have to do that, Tom. But I'd love to have coffee with you. Let's go after class." They went to a nearby cafe, and over coffee, they talked about their favorite books, music, and movies. Tom realized that making friends wasn't as hard as he thought. All it took was a simple conversation to start a great friendship. Story 2: The Lost Wallet. Maria was walking home from work when she noticed something on the ground. It was a wallet. She picked it up and looked inside. There was some money, an ID card, and a few credit cards. The ID card had a name, David Carter. Maria knew she had to do something. She couldn't keep the wallet. "I should return this to its owner," she thought. But how? She decided to go to the address listed on the ID card. When she arrived at the apartment building, she asked the doorman if he knew David Carter. The doorman smiled and said, "Yes, Mr. Carter lives in apartment 3B. I can call him for you." A few minutes later, a man came down to the lobby. He looked worried. "Are you David Carter?" Maria asked. "Yes, that's me," he replied. Maria handed him the wallet and said, "I found this on the street. I believe it's yours." David's face lit up with relief. "Thank you so much. I didn't even realize I had lost it. You saved me a lot of trouble." Maria smiled and said, "I'm glad I could help." David insisted on giving Maria a reward, but she refused. "No need for that," she said. "I'm just happy you got your wallet back." As Maria walked home, she felt good about what she had done. She didn't need a reward. The feeling of helping someone was enough. Story 3: The Big Presentation. Jake worked at a marketing company, and today was an important day. He had to give a presentation to a big client, and he was feeling nervous. Jake had never been good at public speaking. His hands would shake, and he would forget his words when he had to talk in front of people. Before the meeting, Jake's colleague, Lisa, noticed that he looked anxious. "Are you okay?" she asked. Jake sighed and replied, "I'm so nervous about this presentation. What if I forget everything?" Lisa smiled and said, "Don't worry. Just remember, you've practiced this 100 times. You know the material. Take deep breaths and speak slowly. You'll do great." Jake nodded, but he still felt unsure. When the time came for the presentation, he stood in front of the clients with his notes in hand. His heart was beating fast, and he felt like everyone was staring at him. But then he remembered Lisa's advice. He took a deep breath and started speaking slowly. At first, his voice was a little shaky, but as he continued, he gained confidence. The more he talked, the more comfortable he felt. Soon, he was speaking naturally, explaining his ideas clearly. When the presentation was over, the clients smiled and clapped. They were impressed with Jake's work, and his boss praised him for a job well done. Later, Lisa walked over to Jake and said, "See? I knew you could do it." Jake smiled. "Thanks for your support, Lisa. I don't think I could have done it without your encouragement." Story 4: A Trip to the Beach. Sophie and her family had been planning a trip to the beach for weeks. The weather was finally warm, and they were excited to spend the day by the sea. Sophie packed her bag with sunscreen, a towel, and a book to read. When they arrived at the beach, the sun was shining, and the water looked beautiful. Sophie couldn't wait to jump into the waves. "Let's go swimming," she said to her younger brother, Max. Max was a little nervous. "The water looks cold," he said. Sophie smiled and said, "Don't worry, it'll feel nice once you're in." They ran into the water together, laughing as the waves splashed around them. After swimming for a while, they decided to build a sandcastle. Max was in charge of digging the moat, while Sophie shaped the towers. They worked together and built the biggest sandcastle they had ever made. In the afternoon, Sophie took a break to read her book while her parents relaxed under a beach umbrella. As she listened to the sound of the waves, she felt completely at peace. There was something so calming about being by the sea. As the sun started to set, Sophie's family packed up their things and headed home. "That was the best beach day ever," Max said with a big smile. Sophie agreed. "We should come back again soon." Story 5. The New Job. Emily had just started a new job at a local bakery. She had always loved baking, so when she saw the job opening, she applied right away. On her first day, she was excited but also a little nervous. Would she be able to keep up with all the orders? Would the customers like her cakes? Her boss, Mrs. Jenkins, welcomed her with a warm smile. "Don't worry, Emily," she said. "You'll do just fine. I've seen your work, and I know you're a great baker." Emily spent her first day learning how the bakery worked. She helped bake bread, make pastries, and decorate cakes. It was a busy day, but she loved every minute of it. The smell of fresh bread and sweet cakes filled the air, and she felt happy to be doing something she loved. By the end of the week, Emily had already learned a lot. She felt more confident in her work and had even made a few regular customers smile with her delicious treats. One afternoon, a customer came in and asked for a special cake for her daughter's birthday. She wanted a cake with pink icing and lots of flowers. Emily worked hard on the cake, making sure every detail was perfect. When the customer came to pick it up, she was thrilled. "This is beautiful," she said. "My daughter is going to love it." Emily smiled and felt proud of her work. She knew she had found the perfect job for herself. Story 6. The Surprise Party. It was Emma's birthday, but she wasn't expecting much. She thought her friends had forgotten about it because no one had mentioned it all day. After school, she went home feeling a little sad. When she walked into the house, the lights were off. "That's strange," she thought. She turned on the lights, and suddenly, her friends and family jumped out from behind the furniture and shouted, "Surprise!" Emma couldn't believe it. Her best friend, Olivia, ran over to her with a big smile. "Did we surprise you?" she asked. Emma laughed. "Yes. I had no idea you were planning this." The house was decorated with balloons and streamers, and there was a big cake on the table. Emma's favorite songs were playing, and all her friends were there. It was the best surprise party she had ever had. They played games, ate cake, and danced all evening. Emma felt so lucky to have such wonderful friends and family. As the party ended, she thanked everyone for making her birthday so special. Olivia smiled and said, "We wanted to make sure you had the best birthday ever." Emma hugged her and said, "You did. Thank you so much." Story 7. A Kind Stranger. One day, while walking through the park, Anna noticed an elderly man sitting alone on a bench. He looked sad and she wondered if he was okay. She decided to walk over and ask. "Excuse me," Anna said gently. "Are you all right?" The man looked up and smiled. "Thank you for asking," he said. "I'm just a little lonely today. My children live far away, and I don't get to see them often." Anna sat down next to him. "I'm sorry to hear that," she said. "Would you like to talk for a while?" The man's face brightened. "That would be nice," he replied. They talked for almost an hour. The man told Anna about his life, his children, and his love for gardening. Anna listened carefully and asked questions. She was happy to keep him company. Before leaving, Anna said, "I come to this park often. If you're ever here again, I'd love to chat with you." The man smiled and said, "Thank you, young lady. You've made my day much better." As Anna walked away, She felt good knowing that a simple conversation could make such a big difference in someone's life. Boost your English speaking skills with these engaging short stories. Designed for learners of all levels, this video will help you practice pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence structure through simple, easy-to-understand stories. By listening and repeating, you'll improve your fluency and confidence in everyday conversations. Perfect for daily practice, these stories will make learning English fun and effective. Headphone what you'll get. Fun and relatable short stories. Opportunities to practice speaking with shadowing. Tips to improve pronunciation. Simple vocabulary for beginners. Daily speaking practice.